Ireland brethren. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right. 100%. You know,
I got to tell you guys something that most people call me out on. They probably don't believe it. But this, I think you guys know what this looks like.
Oh, yes, my man.
An Irish passport.
Tell us,
That is us right here.
how did you arrange?
We all walk in the doors the same way when we walk through customs, my friend. There ain't, I don't walk in the American line, and all the wrestlers found out that, the first time we flew to Europe, I got in the line with all the Europeans and the wrestlers. Where you going, Enzo? The American line, the USA embassy, all that shit is over here. And I'm like, I don't got to walk through customs, bitch. I had never even been to Ireland in my life, and I walked through there like I lived there my whole life. I got an Irish passport, half a decade ago, probably about 5-6 years ago.
It's a small world. They're like gold. They're like absolute gold. Every person in the world wants an Irish passport.
It's awesome, man. My grandparents were both born in Ireland, so I was able to apply for it. My mother has one. It's cool, man. It's the motherland for me. So I appreciate the green. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the money. Let's talk about the business, boys. What do we got on the table now that I've expressed my Irish love?
We have a lot. How does the whiskey business sound to you, first of all?
The whiskey business is the same as always. It ain't what you guys are drinking. It's probably pissing a bottle in comparison, but we're talking about, Jack Daniels and Jameson. For me, more or less, I got to be honest with you. Fucking, every time I drink a shot of Jameson and a Bud Light, I taste an airport. I just taste the airport. I don't think there was ever a flight that I got on in all those years where I was not wrestling that day that I ever did not in the airport have at least a shot of Jameson and a Bud Light, because I fucking hate flying, man, and I get anxiety out the wazoo. I dislike the whole Accord, especially these days. How are things over there in Ireland with these circumstances?
A bit strange, Enzo. We're getting there. Like it's been a crazy 13 months, but look, the shops are kind of starting to open. Pubs and restaurants are still closed, but we're almost there. Our government, they're absolute bullshit. They don't know what they're doing.
Oh wow. Well, I'm not going to speak on what I don't know here and get my passport taken away. I'll tell you that.
How's life your way, Enzo? You're obviously keeping busy. You're looking $1 million, my man. How's life your way?
I've definitely been, putting the work in. Got the Tracy Smothers going, that's for sure. You guys know who Tracy Smothers is?
We do indeed.
Oh, yeah. I was just watching some old Tracy Smothers versus the Freebirds. He's teaming up with Brad Armstrong, and that's Road Dogg's brother for people who don't know. And maybe it wasn't. It was one of the Armstrong brothers. I think it was Brad. But yeah. I'm definitely staying busy. Been working out and getting myself prepared for what could be, my second run in this business, as you would call it, I suppose, when you take a break in between, either switch promotions or they call it a run there. And I don't know if you guys would call my cruiserweight run my second run, or my NXT run was my first run, or how that all works out, brother. But, if there's another run left in this body, in the next, 10 years, the world's my oyster. If I decide that that's the direction that I want to go full head of steam in, I've certainly thought about it over the past, several months, getting in better shape and not that I was ever out of shape. I have a boxing gym here in New Jersey on 73rd Street, State of Fitness Boxing Club, North Bergen, home of James J. Braddock, Cinderella Man, an Irish immigrant, as you guys know, who fought in Madison Square Garden. Russell Crowe, who played Cinderella Man in the movie, he wears our gear all the time. So shout out Russell Crowe for showing us love. But James J. Braddock is the man. Boxing is my favorite sport outside of football, probably. I really do enjoy American football about as much as any. I also love the combat sports. Unfortunately for me, I don't think that it would be well advised for me to go out there and risk an injury in that world that could be detrimental to My mother already sat home crying, watching me knocked out on a pay-per-view, not knowing whether I was dead or alive. And, the last thing I would want to do is put my mother and father through that again. Honestly, I have a brain, and I use it to write music and write all the promo material that you heard over the years, all of the metaphors and catchphrases and all of that stuff. That's certainly all me. I'm a writer, and I enjoy what I do. In that regard, I don't think that anybody would ever have to pay me to do it. Apparently, I've been doing it for free for myself for so many years. But I find that the ultimate investment you can make in yourself is just that, in yourself. And time is money. And over the years, I've wasted so much time writing that as it went to the well, it accrued and the water surfaced, and I'm swimming these days. I don't even need to really write as much as I do anymore. I can come up with a bullet point and a punchline. I can remember to a time watching Chris Jericho go over his promo in the back, and him just like skipping over lines and like just hitting a bullet point, and me being like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, dude, are we allowed to do this? And Cass kind of being like, "Yeah, different strokes for different folks, kid. Maybe Jericho can do it like that." But they always wanted to hear exactly what was going to come out of my mouth. They wanted to know, have it in writing, hand it to Vince McMahon. And, since I've gotten out of the business, I don't want to call myself lazy, because I used to think it was a lazy man's game if you didn't come prepared and have your promo written and wanted to execute it to the fullest of your ability, knowing that you've said it in the mirror dozens and dozens of times. And you've said it so many times that now you have it memorized, each facial gesture, each way of doing it. Then there's that old school feeling of the organic ability to go out there and ad-lib that kind of becomes a synchronicity as you grow in this business. And something that I almost admire and respect and appreciate as much, and don't want to look at in the mind's eye of a lazy. I just think that as time goes on in this business, and you've had your run like I have, I've proven that the words I write, they work. So sometimes it becomes proving it to yourself when you go out there and being able to do that on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, on a 205 Live. Anytime that I got those opportunities to go out there and ad-lib, and found myself maybe perhaps in a situation where you had to ad-lib, those are the areas in which I think greatness is achieved, and I love that, and I love that realness and that authenticity that comes along with it. But I can't sit here and mince my words. When you look back at my work, those words were written. And maybe it's not a coincidence. Hold on. This right here is the book.
This is why we love Enzo.
This is the book, man. These are promos, all right? That's one page. Like a quarter of it is a page, so that's 4 pages. Look at it. Guys, I outworked all my, my coworkers. I'm not going to sit here and mince words with you. I can sit here and flip it for you so we can really have some fun. You guys get your money's worth here. There we go. All right. These are promos, all right? That's one page. There's 3 per page, 3, 6, 9, 12, all right? Look, guys. All right. I wasn't playing when I was out there in NXT, and if I ever said anything, I made sure to highlight it, even if I thought it was good. Hey, make a pancake, right? You guys have heard me say that on my debut. Well, here it is. You ain't nothing but a mushroom in Super Mario's world. They'll leave you flat like A cups, all right? This figure dismiss. Winners focus on winners. Losers focus on winners. 1-2 banger. Put a little Midas touch on that. You get tuned up, all right? You feeling froggy. You ain't got to leap, I'll be putting on a Tookus whooping exhibit. My jaw's so strong I can blow a bubble with an hour later. You're soft as fabric, and that ain't no fabrication. You talk hard body, you felt like that. Piss your drawers, break your jaw. You call a horse crap bull crap, I'll treat you like a horse and whoop you like a jockey, all right? Shoulda, woulda, coulda. You're bigger. I've been with bigger women than you, you dumb little chicharo, all right? You ain't trying to be, out here, put on a technical spectacle. I'm going to punch you in the mouth, opinion. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. All right, a video game called Real Life, and I got the high score and kicking ass. How you doing? All right. If somebody ever took my phone and got my notes, they'd be a millionaire. So look at these. These are just zingers, one-liners, things that I say. You know, look, you know, it's just what you put into it is what you get out of it, and nothing is a coincidence. The reason why people sang along with me is because, you know, I had to write it down. I don't know where, you know, I got ADD, a delicious dick. You're going to be staring at your phone like you're texting abroad before the prom. She wiped me up and down like a newborn baby. What's a blowjob without the tits out, all right? You know, all right, you got them little pencil erasers. Yeah. I see the rosacea on your face. I can already tell by just looking at you. You got them little pencil eraser nipples, all right, bitch? Hands down, I'm a smart guy, all right? You kick my ass, yeah. I'll walk in your house and, you know, slap you in your face while you're sleeping for even dreaming something stupid like that up, all right? We're gluing pictures together in your Playboy magazine. I don't know what you've been up to, all right? You know, you're like a fucking piñata, okay? I'll beat the shit out of you. You ain't going to be fighting back. That's the way it's going to go, all right? You know what I mean? All right. So there, you guys get a look at New York City too. Here you go, gentlemen. I don't know if this is just an audio podcast, but basically, just to give them the gist of what just happened, I read a bunch of shit out of a giant fucking book that's bigger than the goddamn Bible, because that's what I did between 2012 and 2015. Now, you know, the writing, you know, it's somewhere in the clouds, and every once in a while, you know, I can go back into my notes and pull something out of there. So if I had any advice for any young wrestler that's in this business, you know, nothing is a coincidence. If you guys want to be a promo, then work on your promo. If you guys want to be a wrestler, then work on wrestling. If you guys want to be both, you just might have a recipe for success that makes you the #1 merchandise seller in the WWE. But not only that, it makes you, you know, the #1 booked wrestler in all of pro wrestling in the entire world. You get more promotion. Your face is seen more than anyone. You get more television time. You get more radio interviews. You do more radio rows. You get, you know, advertisements like the Soft Bar through the one and only corporate sponsor of WrestleMania. They write words down and certified G bonafide stud. You do commercials with, you know, major companies and brands that go out and blast your face to the world. Now, you know, that's fame, guys. That's not clout. That's the type of fame that hurts your family when things happen to you, when they see you knocked out on pay-per-view, you know, or when you break your leg and you're out for months, and you know, you got to pay the price, you know, if for admission. If you want to get in this game, you're going to get hurt. So, you know, you're going to have to put your dues in. But I think that the thing that is lost in translation to so many of these young wrestlers is the opportunity to go out there and work on character. You know, I think that a great example is just like watch the fight scene in Dumb and Dumber. Okay, if you've ever seen Jim Carrey in the fight scene in Dumb and Dumber, with the you know, dumbass shit like that is character shit that might not get you in the main event, but fuck, it might get you in the first match on the card, which is a goddamn great match to be in. And through that process, you know, you could accentuate that into titles and opportunities to be in main event matches, on pay-per-views, work with the likes of the people that you admired in this business before you broke in. And it's really a gracious opportunity to see the world if you get into pro wrestling. So if I was a young pro wrestler in any walk of the world, you know, from anywhere, you know, man, you know, focus on that character stuff. And sometimes it maybe promo isn't your strong suit. I know that you can work on it, learn it, be great at it, because I can give you a great example of a person that someone admires a lot, and I know a lot of children do, is Bayley. When Bayley got into the WWE, she really didn't have a character, and she kind of developed that because she wasn't a strong promo at the start, where she wasn't very comfortable speaking on a camera and holding a microphone or talking to a crowd. But she worked really hard at it, and Dusty Rhodes worked with her, and a lot of great people helped her. And then she took on a character of, holy shit, I don't really know what I'm doing here. I don't really know what I'm supposed to say right now. You guys have a camera here. I don't know what to do with my hands. So you want to give me a hug? Because I don't know what else to do. And she gives a hug and runs off. Guys, that shit got over. And she got better on the promo, and now she's in the main event on the stick on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, I'm sure, or whatever the fuck she does. But I'm sure she's opened segments of television with a microphone. Now, you guys got to realize that was not natural for her. So I have seen that some people can learn this thing, okay? And not only that, if you work at it like I did when you write as much as I did and focus on it in the mirror, because I initially thought I was going to be a manager and I did not think I was going to get an opportunity to wrestle. You know, by the direction they were going with me and Cass, I just thought maybe I was so green that they didn't want to throw me into the fire and they'd give me an opportunity to be a manager and just work on the stick. But they threw me right out there in the fire and I had to learn how to wrestle right in front of everybody's eyes. It was unbelievable. And I think when you look back at it, you know, I came into a class with 26, 30 people into the WWE. Walked through the door, big class, Bill DeMott, brand new head coach, first recruiting class of Triple H. So Triple H this is his first recruiting class. We've held off on hires for a few months now. And the reason why we're holding off on these hires is because there's going to be a transition of office. They're taking Dr. Tom and they're removing Tom Pritchard and they're bringing in Bill DeMott. And when they bring in Bill DeMott, he's a drill sergeant. They're bringing in this big class of recruits. And then they're going to fire a lot of talent because Triple H and Bill DeMott, brand new staff. Triple H is the head of talent development now. We haven't created a performance center, and it's old school Florida Championship Wrestling. When I tried out for Dr. Tom, Dusty Rhodes, Steve Kern, and Norman Smiley, and Joey Mercury, that's who I tried out in front of. Okay, and Dusty Rhodes was the guy who gave me the nod and got me hired. Now I walk in the door, Bill DeMott's the head coach, and it's straight drill work, baby. And it was weeding out the herd, and I understood why they brought in a coach like that to you know, say, hey, if you're weak-minded, if you can't take a shit sandwich and learn the taste of it, then you're not going to make it in this business. And they fired a lot of people, man. And my name was always on the chopping block, and it was never a guarantee. So I would show up at 5:30 in the morning and wait on the steps for Bill, and I'm pretty sure it was the reason why he hated me most. And as I have an upcoming wrestling match this Saturday, May 22nd, for SWE Fury against an old kid that wrestled and now is a man with children who gave up the business after he got fired by the WWE, is the likes the world has never seen, a talent that was held from the world because he was too good. That's literally the reason, all right? I mean, he was put into Bray Wyatt's Wyatt family in a couple promo classes by Bray because Bray wanted him. And it was so goddamn good that they said, well, he overshadows Bray, and we don't want Bray to be a tag team. We want him to be his own thing. And the Wyatt family's only going to be 3 people. This kid's great. And he quit the business because he got fired. So he was sitting with me on those steps at 5:30 in the morning. And so I don't believe in coincidences. I do believe the reason why, you know, maybe I got that big pop was because I was the first guy to show up and the last to leave on the day that I left. But at the end of the day, this kid who was sitting there who was so goddamn talented, he didn't get the same opportunity I got. Trust me. So, you know, an opportunity to get back in the ring for me this week is graciously afforded because I don't just want to hop back in the ring and jump in there with just anyone. When I wrestle, it means something to me. And a lot of the times it doesn't maybe mean something to the person that's watching. But just like Brian Pillman Jr., the reason why I wrestled him when I came out of the WWE, you know, I think that the reason is kind of obvious, but maybe the world doesn't know, is that, you know, I love Brian Pillman, his dad, the Psycho, right? And I love the gimmick. And if you guys are hearing me speak, you're listening to Eric, okay? And you guys don't even have to answer questions. I'll round every base and give you the podcast of a lifetime, okay? So, you know, Brian Pillman, the guy, quite frankly, you know, to me, transcended the business with coolness and became a notable character outside of the ring with a broken leg, probably perhaps bigger than he ever did as the guy in the zebra trunks. And the things that he was able to do, you know, by breaking the fourth wall, I find are remarkable. And I love to do that when I have that opportunity. My favorite game in the wrestling business is the finish game. You know, I you know, just like Pat Patterson is famous for finishes, you know, my forte and my favorite thing to do was get killed. So if somebody's coming up for the finish of a match, a lot of the time it's me because I'm laying on my back at the end of a lot of them. All right. So I love that part of our business. And, you know, there's so many layers to create, you know, what we have. And it's certainly an onion when you peel it the back. But when you can when you can blur that line of what's real and what's fake and make people believe that perhaps, you are this human being. Enzo Amore was a character, and I certainly got him off, as we would say, off to the races, and it was a lot of fun. And, Big Cass was there, and I couldn't have done it without him. And I'm certainly happy to see him and his comeback and all the things that he's doing. But as I mentioned on Twitter, is that Thor does not need Robin. There is Batman and there's Robin, and we did that thing. And, I think that it's very important for him to take on this next facet of his career and make it his own and show the world he is who I thought he was from the start, the guy who I decided to put, all my energy into a business relationship that, when things went rocky or when they went right or when everything went sour or when it went, north, up, and south, bottom line is we were able to work ourselves, through some gruesome times. For anybody who's ever seen the dark side of the ring, I've seen it in the flesh. And for him to make it back out of there and to be in any sort of spotlight right now and have that confidence that I see in him now that I used to see from, Big Cass, now I see it in W. Morrissey. It's the coolest goddamn thing in the world. If anybody's ever experienced, addiction or seen the hurt, it's a real disease. And if you've ever seen anybody suffer from it, it's no fucking joke. So shout out to him for inspiring all those people that are out there that go through that shit. You know what I mean? So if you find yourself in the situations that we found ourselves in, thrust into the spotlight from the jump, and quite frankly, over as fuck from the fucking jump, you have no idea what it's like unless you live it. There's very few people that you get the opportunity to speak to about those things that can understand it. And I want to speak about one more guy before, I sign off here, give you guys a solid hour or something like that. I'll give you a half hour, an hour. I'll go on forever, guys. This is what I do.
We get a couple
just came fucking straight off of coffee and a blunt. All right. They make marijuana legal here. You can drink your coffee. Caffeine's also legal. I do believe caffeine is legal in Ireland. So you guys get the buzz that I'm on. And the reason why I'm pressed for time here is because I got an air conditioner guy coming here at 12:30. If you look at my Instagram, you just see here. So I know that we were supposed to do this thing at 11:30, and I'm just buzzing through. But yeah. So just to get back to brass tacks here, when I take a match, and I got one coming up here, it means a lot to me to wrestle with people, just like I'm sure it does to a guy, like Big Cass, to do business with people that he's been working with lately that he's known for a while. There's certainly a swan song there, if you know what I'm talking about. There's also, guys like Gallows and Anderson that he's worked with in the past that probably, worked him into the equation and infiltrating the doors over there at Impact and making that brand bigger, larger. And I certainly tune in when the shit's on TV now. I have my reason, and it's a reason to watch television again and pro wrestling again that I haven't had for a while. And I can always tune in to watch Big Cass. I always am going to support him on his journey. And Lord only knows when ours will cross again. But everybody knows what kind of money's in that. Yeah. Everybody knows when, I come running through a curtain backwards and the big guy comes out with his fist in the air. It's going to be a fucking fun time. So, and somebody's willing to die out there. It's probably both of us. It's one thing that you can't take away from Enzo and Cass and the run that they had was it was as real as it comes. The beatings were real. The licks I took, I did it right in front of your faces. And I think that's one of the reasons why I got to draw so much empathy and sympathies, because I know a lot of people that were watching knew that it was against all odds. I got thrown out there into the fire. I learned. I got great. I put a title around my waist, put a promotion on my back, and I went off to the races. And the finish line was a main event marquee headline in the Hudson Civic Center, that is a world-renowned, famous wrestling, arena from the days of Raw, when I started watching pro wrestling on television. As a kid, I wasn't smartened up to the good shit, all that WCW, NWA. My parents knew if I overdosed on wrestling, I'd end up in a fight at the park every day. So the only thing they let me watch was a few VHSs, and every once in a while they'd be like, "Oh, wrestle time." It was Saturday morning, right after the cartoons, you watch Saturday morning wrestling. I didn't know about all that, and by the time you found Raw, man, shit got raw. So to be able to do that, the WWE offered me the opportunity of a lifetime. I'm never going to throw shade. at the opportunity I got. Without him, I wouldn't have been able to get where I'm at. But, you know, you got to fight fire with fire. You can't be a coward. In a world with 1 million followers, you are a brand. We can never forget that. You deserve what you get. You know, I've seen the paychecks come in for the WWE. I know the splits. I, you know, have been the #1 merchandise seller in the entire world of pro wrestling, a feat that very few people have ever fucking done. So I did it with a guy named Big Cass. He's seen the paperwork. He knows his worth, and I can't wait to see him go get this money, have a great time doing it, because a lot of the time, it ain't about the money. It's about having a great time doing it. And when I was in NXT for 5 years, Lord knows, I signed my soul to the devil for $1,000 a week, got to travel the world in a bus, free expenses. The catering wasn't always great, but fuck, the fans were always great. And I had the time of my life. So, I got into a video game, a paycheck that, cleared off some of that college debt. But at the end of the day, when you want to do what you love for a living, it sometimes ain't about the money. It's about doing it. And that's what this one is about. This Saturday for me is getting in the ring with a guy in Knuckles Madsen of NXT, now known as Ivan Warsaw, who's one of the best goddamn promos in our business of wrestling, okay?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you ever fucking heard him talk. A lot of people make hit records. Nobody's ever heard him. You guys have certainly been in the car with somebody who played a song and you went, who sings this song? Where is this song? Who is this artist? That's how you get put on to music, guys. When somebody else plays it for you, maybe you don't hear it on the radio. Well, the same goes for some of these great promos and these great wrestlers. In a business where it takes one to make one, I'm a fucking star, all right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to get in the ring with another guy and give his ass what we call the fucking rub. And he deserves every bit of it because he was sitting there giving me the rub, lacing me, with fucking right hands and left hands, and I was bumping all over the ring, and he was teaching me about this business when I first broke in 2012. And he hasn't seen a wrestling ring in a long time. By the time he breaks out into one, I do believe that he's going to be able to make a name for himself on television somewhere, which is what I'm in the game of now. If I'm not on television, I bet you I can help get somebody on fucking TV. That's word to Brian Pillman Jr., who went out there and had a fucking great match with me for NEW in the Mid-Hudson Civic Center, the same place that I main evented the last wrestling match of my WWE career in the marquee headline of 205 Live's first ever and only ever Cruiserweight tour. To me, wrestling was never about knowing that you could go out and have I never had a main event wrestling match with a title around my waist and my name on the headboard. It's always been Enzo and Cass, tag team match, tag team title match. You know what I mean? By the time I got that singles run in NXT days, I had been in a million main events. But they were tag matches or big, triple threats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or, shit like that. Fatal four ways. I never did a one-on-one, 205 Live Cruiserweight title match on tour with all those guys that had never been on a Cruiserweight tour before either, and the WWE had never done it. Now, when I got done with it on a Saturday and a Sunday, and I got Monday Night Raw, got shit canned the next day, on that Sunday night, I don't believe in coincidences, man. Like, God is good. In this weird irony of getting fired in the mass hysteria, I, in that essence, was able to prove to myself, not the fucking fans, to myself, to the boys, to everybody that matters, the brass in wrestling, the biggest names in the fucking business, that I could do this, we could do this, and that vision that we had is real, and that I executed. So I, in that stature of my career, did not mentally know if, without doing it, making it a success, if it's even a possibility. Until you do something, you can't know if it's real. You can't know if you can do it. Whether I debut on WWE, I never know what a debut feels like. I don't know if I can deliver a promo until I go out there and do it. I don't know if I can have a tag team title match or I can have a main event match until I do it. I've main evented Raw and title matches, okay? But you guys ought to understand in the root of what it is that we do, in the fucking real cement, that mixing process, that ground, that foundation that's built in this business of pro wrestling is the live event. Not what you people see on TV, but the opportunities to tour the world and come to you and see your face in every arena and every fucking, facet of what it is that we do. That's the place. That's the ballpark. That's the arena. That's what it is. That's like doing the Garden. They don't do the Garden for TV. There hasn't been a pay-per-view of the Garden in fucking years. Okay? If they do the Garden on TV, it was Fight TV, and you're goddamn right, I'm going to jump the barricade and be a part of it. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about live events, all right? When the WWE comes on the holiday tour, when they come to Ireland, you know what I mean? This shit ain't televised.
Yeah.
Who are the guys that they are advertising in advance that are the names that are taking all the radios, that are handling all the interviews, that are fucking on the marquee, that are on the billboards, that are fucking, you got Roman Reigns taking the marquee headline in Germany, and they're fucking having him doing Radio Rows. Maybe it's Seth Rollins, or maybe it's fucking Goldberg, maybe it's fucking Brock. Whoever these big names are that are filling the house, that are in the main event, that are having the title match, that all the boys are sitting in the back watching at the end.
Yeah.
That's the spot you want to be in pro wrestling. And that's what I was able to do. And at that point, I knew I did it all. I fought for titles in a ladder match against the fucking Hardy Boys at WrestleMania. Check off my bucket list. Win titles, walk out of, the business with the title around my waist, whether we like it or I like it or you like it or no one likes it. That's how the fuck it went down.
Yeah.
And I was able to sit back in a career and say, holy shit. Whoa, bro. What just happened? Oh my God. You did it. You literally did it. Like, you were a kid in a small town. You grew up a normal life. Your dad was a fucking DJ. And here you are. And now your career's, you're able to look at it.